Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Aaron Herman. We're here at the J-Post conference in New York City. Let's take a closer look. When you decide to take a picture of somebody, there's that idea it's like capturing their soul, right, in a way. And your images are extremely powerful in so many different ways. And, 10/7 forced us to take in images that the brain something can't process, but needs to be seen. And your art here is, it's not just breathtaking, it's an emotional and impactful experience as you walk through. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you decide to do this type of photography.
So my name is Chen Schimmel. I was born in London. I made Aliyah when I was 18. And I've always loved photography. Started as street photography, actually. It was never journalism. It just felt like it wasn't meaningful enough. I felt like I had to document and to bear witness. And I started doing that. I started doing that in Israel through protests, and I actually flew when there were earthquakes in Morocco, for example. And then October 7th happened. And I have two brothers that one is in the army and one went to Be'eri on October 7th to fight. And I just couldn't sit still. I knew that I had to go and document and to bear witness. Because whatever was happening to our people in our country, it was history unfolding. And so that's what it started out to be. I actually joined ZAKA, and I volunteered with ZAKA. And then from that, it transpired into photographing with hostage families, injured soldiers, evacuees, Nova survivors.
And so tell us a little bit about the process, because let's just walk over to this image right now, because I'm sort of drawn to this right now. It's a very powerful image, right? Everyone knows this family, right? And it's, how do you decide to take that picture that will resonate with people?
Most of my photographs are actually not staged. It's something that I don't love to do, but this obviously had to be planned. I mean, Rachel and John are back to back, just constantly being interviewed and showing their face to the world and telling their story. But this photo in particular, it's actually interesting you chose it because it has a very powerful story behind it. Everyone knows Rachel, everyone knows how she is. The woman is made of other stuff. Every time she's being photographed or interviewed, she stands with this look in her eye and with this strength. And she said to me while I was photographing, she said, "Tell me how to stand. I don't really feel too comfortable." And I said, "I just want you to stand how you feel." And she just fell into John's arms. And this is actually the first time they were photographed after Hirsch had been killed.
So I noticed that. So when I'm looking at
but
her,
she still has that look.
She has that look, but the embrace, right? That's I haven't seen that in the photos that she's always the strong lioness,
Yeah, exactly. And even in her eulogy, it's she's breaking down, of course, and she's in anguish, but there is that strength and that resilience that she has, which you can still see here, but it's the embrace that I think also represents our people. And
sure,
yeah.
Which was the hardest one to actually take a picture of and then sort of put on a board?
Very good question. Which one was the hardest one to photograph? All of them difficult in their own way. Really, it's really, really hard to choose. They all have a story behind them. This one actually was the first funeral after October 7th. It was of a British soldier called Nathaniel Young. And as I was photographing, I was looking through my viewfinder and I see my brother carrying the coffin. This is my brother. And he had just drafted and we didn't know what he was doing, post October 7th, what he was going to do. And that for me was a very, very, very difficult day. And it was only a few days after October 7th, so people still didn't know what was fully happening.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of, but everything has a story behind it.
And let's go over here for a second, because everyone sort of feels the uncertainty of what's next, right? And we always say, like, bring them home now, right? Now, when you're in this and you're the photographer, like, how are you dealing with it emotionally and also, like, trying to capture that moment?
Very good question. It's something I deal with every day. People ask me a lot of the time, how do you deal with it emotionally and just like psychologically? I think that I would find it a lot more difficult if I wasn't doing what I was doing, and if I didn't feel like I was actually doing my duty in documenting these events. I very much feel I'm not like numb. A lot of like at times with photography it can kind of be a barrier, but I very much feel there are times where I've broken down. But I'm very lucky to have my family. It's my family that keeps me going, and it's actually the people that I photograph that keep me going. If they can get up every morning after their families have been taken hostage, then I can.
Is there a photo that you want to take, like they haven't had an opportunity to yet?
Any hostage returning.
Yeah.
Those are the photos that I would love to take. Yeah.
Are you displaying these anywhere, like, you know, for people to either purchase or to experience, or like a gallery? Like, what's the plan with all this now?
All of the above.
Yeah.
Last night a photograph was auctioned, and all the proceeds are going to ZAKA. Another one this week will be auctioned in Miami, which was just organized yesterday. And then, yeah, exhibitions, galleries. I have a book coming out in September, so
That's great.
Anywhere where people can see it and see the truth.
Yeah. Where can people go to see it, like online?
Online. I have a QR code over here that this lovely woman that I work with organized, because I'm so bad at anything that's to do with tech.
So know what's amazing? QR codes like 10 years ago were like, oh, who's going to scan it? Now everyone's like scanning. It's amazing.
I have a website. I have an Instagram.
That's great.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to achieve, I guess, in the long run for people to experience this? Like, what do you want people to take away from all your art after they see it?
It's an excellent question. I don't think I can ever like demand of someone how they should feel when they look at a photograph, but for it to leave the mark, and for it to tell the truth, and for people to never, deny the events of what happened.
As you can see, the J-Post conference was a truly incredible experience, bringing together the Jewish community and others to learn, connect, and make a difference. This is Aaron Herman, and thanks for watching.